everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a recipe video for you and I can't believe it, but I've done 2 in 2 weeks. That's gotta be a record for me. But I am so excited to get into this recipe, which is going to be a fresh made pesto, and then I'm going to use that pesto to make a caprese salad. Again, I want to reiterate, I do really simple, easy recipes, things you can easily Google. In fact, my pesto recipe is just a Googled ingredients list that I've used for years and years and years, and it's really phenomenal. So I hope you guys like this video. If you do, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. I do grocery hauls all the time, and I also throw in recipe videos as well and a couple lifestyle vlogs here and there too. So let's get right into making this fresh pesto. And by the way, the basil is straight from my garden.
All right. Ooh, baby, just hold tight. We're up the moonlight. Believe in the magic.
Here are the ingredients you need to make the pesto, starting with some basil. As you can see, I have a bunch of basil in my lettuce spinner. Now I picked this basil fresh, or I should say I cut this basil fresh from my outdoor garden, basil that I grew from seed, and then I also supplemented with some basil that I have growing currently inside in my lettuce grow. Before I add my basil to the food processor, I'm gonna go ahead and pick off all the leaves off of the vines and then give them a good wash first and foremost. Next up, you're gonna need some type of nut. Now, I've been told several times pine nuts are not the only nut that can be used in pesto. I've heard walnuts are a great alternative. They're a lot cheaper, more affordable, and sometimes if you have an allergy, you can play around with different nuts. I would say Google your list of nuts if you don't know, but I know walnuts are a good supplement, and I think there's a few others that you can use instead of pine nuts. But I got this giant bag from Costco, and it was very expensive, 30 bucks, but you need some nuts, extra virgin olive oil, little salt and pepper, 2 cloves of garlic, some fresh grated Parmesan, Parmigiano Reggiano, and then a 1/4 cup of lemon. So we're gonna get all these ingredients ready to go, and then we're gonna put them all into the food processor to mix up and make our pesto. Now that my basil leaves are all plucked off, I have them in my salad spinner. I just rinsed the basil really well, and I'm just gonna spin it to get it as dry as possible, and then we're gonna move on to the next step. Now that I have my 2 cups of packed basil on the side, I am going to shred some Parmesan, and you want 3/4 of a cup of Parmesan. So it's gonna take a while, so I'm just gonna sit here and be shredding for quite some time. Next, we're going to squeeze our lemons. So I have fresh lemons, and I'm gonna go ahead and get 1/4 of a cup of lemon juice. And I picked some really soft lemons, and I'm just gonna use my little hand squeezer here. Ingredients prepped, we're gonna go ahead and start to blend everything in your food processor. Now, if you don't have a food processor, a blender works just fine. Whatever you have that can blend up food processor is just something I have. So I'm just putting the basil kind of all around the inside of this. So that's 2 cups worth of packed basil. Next, we're gonna do a 1/2 cup of your nuts. So I'm gonna do 1/2 cup of my pine nuts, and I'm just throwing it all into the food processor, which makes it so simple because pretty much everything just goes in all at once. So 1/2 cup, and I kind of like to try to get it all around so it evenly distributes. Next, you're doing a 1/2 cup of olive oil. Now I have my 1/4 cup lemon juice, and I love this little squeezer. I got this at the 99-cent store, and it pre-measures it for you, which is amazing because I don't have to do another measuring spoon dish. So you got your lemon juice in there. Then I'm gonna add the Parmesan cheese that we freshly grated. Then you want 2 cloves of garlic. I have these little baby cloves, so I'm just gonna do all of them, but just do 2 larger size cloves of garlic. Dropping in the cloves of garlic. Now we're gonna add our salt and pepper. So it is 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Now all we have left to do is blend all of our ingredients up. It's so simple to throw all these together. The trickiest part is just the prep, which isn't too bad at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on low to start, and then I might do it up to high because I want it to be a smooth, creamy pesto. All right, so I just blended it up for, I would say, about a minute total. And what I like to do now is just go in there with a little spatula and try to push it down and get all the little chunks. If you notice anything that didn't get blended, push it all back down, and then you're gonna just blend it one more time to make sure it's nice and smooth. It smells amazing. It has a very like lemony, fresh smell, and the Parmesan comes out really strong in this too. So I'm gonna just do it for one more, maybe like 20 seconds, not very long. Perfect. Now I'm going to transfer my pesto into a jar, just any kind of mason jar you have at your house. You can honestly like wash out old pasta jars. I do that all the time, and I use those to contain like different sauces and things that you want to make. So I'm gonna go get my mason jar and I'm gonna transfer this into there. I believe it lasts about a week in the refrigerator. I always put a little label on my mason jar with like masking tape, and I write down the date that I made it, so you kind of have an idea of when this is gonna start to need to get thrown out. But we always finish this within the first couple days that I make it, so it's never been an issue with it going bad in the fridge. So I'm gonna grab my mason jar and I will be right back. All right, I have my pesto in my jar. You see how much this makes? It's about, I don't know, a little more than half of this 25.75 ounce jar. So you're looking at, I would say, you know, maybe about 16 ounces. And I will keep this in the fridge for further use. Now, you can stop the video right here and you can use the pesto however you want. Like pasta is usually how we do it. I've heard avocado toast with pesto is really good. But today we're gonna do a little caprese salad with this. So a lot of times with caprese, all you really need is a really good quality tomato. Heirlooms are my favorite, so I'm using an heirloom tomato today, some already sliced mozzarella. And this is great because Trader Joe's sells it already pre-sliced. Otherwise, it's really slippery. It's a big pain in the butt. So having this ready to go is perfect. And then your balsamic glaze. So the glaze is great because it's a little thicker, and when you drizzle it on, it kind of just sticks in its place. Otherwise, if you use a more watery balsamic, you're gonna have it be more of a splash, and it's gonna soak into the mozzarella really quickly, and you might accidentally use more than you intend to. So what I was gonna say, if you're doing a traditional caprese, I believe it's traditional, you would do all of these ingredients plus some basil leaves. Well, I kind of skipped the basil leaf process by making the pesto, and I'm gonna add pesto to mine. So I'll show you how I do it, and we're gonna eat together and enjoy it because it's one of my favorite things to eat. All you need to do for the caprese is cut the tomato, and you're gonna wanna make sure that they're about this thick. So you see that, about that thick, and they're gonna just be stacked like that. Now we are ready to plate everything and basically make it look pretty. So if you're gonna be making this for guests for a party or whatever social situation, you can put it on a really pretty plate, and you can obviously make this recipe huge, as big as you need to feed as many mouths as you need to feed. For me, I'm just doing a little personal plate, and I'm just putting on a little small plate, but I'm gonna show you how I stack it all. You're gonna start by putting some mozzarella cheese down and try to match the size of the cheese with the tomato. And you're basically just gonna layer every other one. Now that you have your little stack, you're gonna take your pesto and you're just gonna kinda drizzle it over the top, and you can spread it out if you want, or you can just make it look pretty and drizzle. This smells so good. And then the last step is just going to be drizzling the balsamic glaze over the top, however you want. And this is the finished product of your little caprese salad that you just take a knife and fork to and eat. All right, so that is it. That's how simple it is. I have my plate here. Of course, I have to try it with you guys watching, because, I mean, you wanna see that I'm actually eating the food I'm making to share with you guys. So let's see how this tastes. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, the smell of the balsamic mixed with the fresh pesto I think this might be my favorite smell ever. Okay, this is a huge bite, so I'm gonna cut as soon as I take a bite. Oh my gosh, I have to say that the ingredients, I don't know what it is, but this combo just tastes so delicious. It is so reminiscent of summer, but really anytime I throw a party, I always put this together because it's so good. A lot of times I don't do the pesto, but I will tell you, the pesto just knocks it up another level and it makes it so much better. So if you've never had it with pesto, try it because it is 10 out of 10, the most delicious thing. My mouth is watering. I can't wait to finish this. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please don't forget to give that thumbs up for me and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more recipes, more hauls, and a couple more fun videos that are coming up now that we're hitting the end of the year. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.